What's up, guys? Jordan McAbee here, fantasyracingonline.com, and it's time to talk about Texas. We're kicking off the round of 8 with the Autotrader EchoPark Automotive 500. We got Kyle Larson on the pole for Sunday's race at Texas. Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, the top 3. Those are also the top 3. They're the most likely to win. They're the favorites this week, according to my algorithm, according to consensus around the industry. They're pretty much the guys everybody's talking about. They've been the best in this package. They've been the best at mile and a half. So Texas is a low wear mile and a half track. It was repaved before the 2017 season, so you can throw away any stats before 2017. If we're looking at similar tracks this year, you can throw in the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte. That's a very good comparison. You can also throw in Las Vegas and Kansas. Those races, two races at Vegas, one race at Kansas. Actually using the same tire combination as Las Vegas this week. The same right side tire as Kansas, and also the same, I believe the full same tire combination as the Michigan race. Now, Michigan's a 2-mile track, but let me just double check that. Same tire setup as Las Vegas and Michigan, and same right side tire as Kansas. So Michigan's a two-mile track, but somewhat comparable to come in and look at data from that this week. Now, what's interesting is I talked last week about the starting lineup being weird for the Charlotte Roval because it came after a super speedway race. And we have the exact same thing this week with Texas, where the starting lineup's different because of the Roval. And there's some guys starting further up that probably shouldn't, or that aren't typically starting that farther up. And, DraftKings did a very interesting price job. So this video is going to be a little bit more about lineup construction. We're still going to go through all the drivers, but this week I think it's really about lineup construction and how you build your lineup, because it's tough. It's tough. There's no good values down below. My projections really like punting and going and loading your guys up top, and then going with someone like BJ McLeod. That's not a fun way, and that's not a comfortable way to play a mile and a half track, though, because it's just not likely that someone like BJ McLeod is going to get into the optimal. It's going to take a lot to get that to where that is what happens. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But my algorithm predicts Denny Hamlin in victory lane, Kyle Larson second, Kyle Busch third. These three are light years above everybody else, almost 5 points in the power index above everybody else. So, it's going to be difficult for me to see this race where those three aren't the top 3 and those 3 aren't the ones fighting for the win. We do know how with these mile and a half tracks that track position at the end is the most important thing. And so we could see someone like Ryan Blaney, or we could see someone like Martin Truex Jr., I think, maybe steal this win. It's not like we haven't seen someone steal a win at a mile and a half before. If they get out first on the final restart and maintain position on that restart, they could win. But if everything goes to plan, I think we're looking at either Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch in victory lane on Sunday. And I think those are the main dominators this week as well. Larson's on and they're starting 1, 2, 3, and that's what kind of makes it a little bit more difficult. Lineup wise is they are just all starting up. The 3 favorites are starting up front, and they're the most likely dominators. So yeah. One thing to note is that this race is a 500-mile race, so we're looking at 334 laps around Texas on Sunday, and that's noteworthy because typically mile-and-a-half tracks are 400-mile races. I personally think this plays into Kyle Larson's hands a little bit because that team tends to, if they don't nail the setup from the beginning like they did at Charlotte, so like Charlotte, he led like the entire race. If they don't nail the setup right at the beginning, which has happened quite often this year, we've seen races where Larson is the heavy favorite and then doesn't lead until later in the race, despite starting up front. I think a 500-mile lap plays into that team's hand because I can't explain it. They just know how to make that car better and better and better as the day goes on. So I think a 500-mile lap race definitely plays into Larson's hands. Or he could, like I said, he could come out and, dominate this thing like he did at Charlotte earlier this year. And, yeah, we could have that situation again. These are four low-wear races this season. So we're looking at the 2 Las Vegas races, the Kansas race, and the Charlotte race. You throw them all together, Kyle Busch has the best average finish at 2.5. Chase Elliott's at 5.5. Keselowski's at 5.8. Denny Hamlin's at 6.0. Kyle Larson 7.8. William Byron 9.8. When you go by average running position, got Larson at 3.4. He's had some bad luck at I wouldn't say bad luck, but he's had just hasn't been able to finish some races. Kansas comes to mind where he finished like 20-something after fading late and dominating all day. But Kyle Busch 6.2, second best. Hamlin 6.7. Again, those three have been the top on the low-wear tracks this year. Chase Elliott's there at 7.1, Byron 7.2, Keselowski 8.8, and then Harvick 9.9. When we look at the 550 horsepower package this year, so that's what they're running this week. We should know this by now. But I've thrown in all those races into a data set. So in these 10 races, we're looking at Homestead, Vegas, Atlanta, Kansas, Charlotte, Pocono 2, Atlanta 2, Michigan, and Las Vegas 2. Best average finish, Kyle Busch 3.7. Kyle Larson 6.9, nice. Denny Hamlin 7.5, Byron 8.5, Blaney 9.1, Harvick 9.3, Keselowski and Truex at 9.9. When we go by average running position, Kyle Larson 4.7, Kyle Busch 7.1, Byron 7.6, Hamlin 7.6, Truex 10.1, Blaney 10.3, Bowman 10.4, Elliott 10.5. It's the same guys. And now that the playoffs have started, you can't really love this narrative, but the playoff drivers tend to get not faster, but just they're going to be running up front, and we're going to see it. They all start up front, and they're going to be running up front. So we'll go ahead and do a quick driver breakdown here. Like I said, I want to talk more about roster construction this week than I do drivers, but we will go through all these real quick. Kevin Harvick starts 24th. He's 10,900. Here's the thing. If you've listened to me, if you pay attention to me, you know that I don't like to pay up for place differential unless it's a super speedway race or it's a road course race. I don't like paying up for place differential when a driver has no dominator upside either, especially. Like Kevin Harvick doesn't have dominator upside. He hasn't led a single lap on mile and a half this year. And let's go to laps led for the 550 package. Kevin Harvick, 0 laps led. 0 laps led over 10 550 horsepower package races this year. All he has is place differential potential. And let me tell you, a very good day for that team would be a 5th place finish. He's probably about an 8th to 10th place car. I don't like paying up for that. I don't at all. And I know plenty of people are going to. They're going to see Kevin Harvick, priced under 11,000, starting 24th. I don't like it. I love being underweight on Harvick this week. In high dollar, I'm probably not going to have a single Harvick lineup. And if that's what kills me, that's what kills me. But there's a lot of other drivers I'd rather go with this week. So my projections don't like Harvick. I don't like Harvick. That's where I'm at. That's where I stand. That's my stand this week. Kyle Larson, he's on the pole. He's 10,500. Slam dunk play. Just absolute slam dunk. So, just looking at the low wear tracks this year, Kyle Larson, you cannot, low wear tracks. 236 fastest laps, 657 laps led. That's over 4 races. His lowest was the second Vegas race, and he only led 95 laps. He still led 95 laps. So, yeah. Kyle Larson, he should be the highest owned driver this week. He should just be a lock in your lineup. Where I could see not taking Larson would be like a single entry contest where he's going to be really high owned. Maybe going a little underweight on him in like a big tournament, but for the most, chances are Larson's going to be in the optimal. He's not priced as high as he should be. despite starting first. And yeah, so I could see maybe, having a few lines without Larson, but it's all signs are pointing to Larson, this being a very good Larson day. Martin Truex Jr., he's 10,300. He starts 8th. I kind of like Truex as like a tournament play. Just because, here's the thing. Here's what I really don't like about Truex. Look at these numbers on Mile and a House. Decent finishes, but 13 fastest laps, 7 laps led. He needs dominator points to get there from 8th. I think Truex can get up there and lead. Look at these finishes in the fall races: 8th, 3rd, 2nd, 9th, 6th, 2nd. I just think Truex can be a sneaky play tonight or this weekend. Is he like a go super heavy on this guy, and this is a definite tournament play? No, but I do think he is a good pivot if you want to get off some of the dominator chalk, I guess. So I like Truex. I don't love it. I think he can run top 5. It all depends if he gets up there and leads. Texas has been a very good track for Joe Gibbs Racing lately. With Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch being so fast at Texas recently, why can't Truex do the same thing? That's always what I think of when we see one team do really well, and then a teammate comes out of nowhere and has a bunch of speed, and then we're like, oh, that makes sense. They're part of that organization, and this guy was fast in the previous race. Same exact thing here. I could see that happening with Truex on Sunday. So Chase Elliott, he starts 6th. He's 10,100. My algorithm thinks he's a top 5 car. He's been solid. 91 fastest laps, 45 laps led on the low wear mile and a halves this year. His worst race was Kansas when it came to fastest laps. Other than that, he put up 29 fastest laps in the second Vegas race. He put up sorry, I'm doing quick math here. There we go. 18 fastest laps in the first race, 39 fastest laps at Charlotte, and then only 5 at Kansas. My only concern, and if you go look at Rotodoc's Twitter feed, he talked about Chase Elliott and why he doesn't seem to do well on these newly repaved tracks for whatever reason. Made a lot of good points, but he's basically in the same boat for me as Truex this week. I could see using him as a pivot. The Hendrick Chevys have been so good on the mile and a half this year and in this package. So I wouldn't be surprised if Chase Elliott struggles on Sunday, but I would be surprised if that makes sense. It probably doesn't make any sense, but I think Elliott's a decent play. I don't love it, but don't hate it either. As a decent pivot. Like I said, the 3 top guys are Larson, Hamlin, and Kyle Busch. Denny Hamlin, he starts 2nd. He's 9,900. He's going to project well. He's going to look good, and he should look good in all projections. He won at Vegas too. Put up 32 fastest laps and 137 laps led. Looking specifically at Texas, I think Hamlin's won here 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Yep. It's hard to, as much as I hate to say it, it's hard to bet against Denny Hamlin right now. He's very, very, very fast, and I think he has a good chance to win this race. Obviously, my algorithm does too. I think he has a good chance to dominate this race for a portion. I I think lineups this week you need two of the top three starters. I think that's just how it's going to come down. Kyle Busch, I think that's how the optimal is going to come down. Kyle Busch, he starts third, 9,800, same exact situation as Denny Hamlin. They're both very strong. It's going to be who gets out front. That's what it's going to be, and when, and can they get around Larson? Looking at the low wear numbers, Kyle Busch slightly better than Hamlin, 98 fastest laps this year on only 23 laps led, whereas Hamlin has 71 fastest laps, 194 laps led. Kyle Busch won this race last year. Heads up, I think I would rather go Kyle Busch over Denny Hamlin, but they're both very strong plays. Kyle Busch is very good here at Texas. Look at this. Very, very strong here at Texas. So, there's 3 races here in the last 6 that he's led 60 or more laps, and he's led in all but one of them. So, definitely both are very strong plays. Maybe you play both of them instead of Larson. I mean, that's, again, we're going to get to roster construction. But, Kyle Busch is a great play. William Byron, he starts 12th. He's $9,600. I think he's a top 5 car. I think he can steal the win despite being knocked out of the playoffs. You look at here's what William Byron should get you. He should get you he has the second most fastest laps on mile and a half this year, low wear mile and a half. So he should get you about 20 to 30 fastest laps on Sunday, plus place differential, plus a top 5 finish if he finishes the race. I don't see how you don't like William Byron this weekend. I think he's a great play. I think he's definitely, on the table. It's hard. The only argument that you can make against William Byron is that he, I don't know if he fades late in races, but he just doesn't get the finishes a lot of times. So that's the only case I can make against William Byron. But at the same time, he should be very, very solid here on Sunday. So Ryan Blaney, he starts 4th. He's $9,500. He's very good here at Texas. And, look at this. 4th, 7th, 8th. Had that issue in 2019, but he led 45 laps. 2nd, 5th, 6th. He can get up there and lead. He starts 4th. I think he's a good pivot off of Hamlin, Kyle Busch, and I don't mind going Larson, Blaney either. I'd almost throw Blaney into the Dominator pool with Hamlin and Kyle Busch because he could easily get up there and lead some laps. Now with Blaney, it's going to come down to him leading laps because Penske cars typically don't get fastest laps. Blaney's has been good for about 10 to 12, 10 to 16 each low wear race this year. Hasn't gone above 16, hasn't gone below 10. He just doesn't. Penske just doesn't put up the fastest laps. So if Blaney can get up there and lead, that's where I can see him coming in. I think he's a solid top 5 car. Think he can challenge for the win. It's just if he can get up there and lead because he's going to need to. If you're going to pivot off, I think he's going to need to if you're going to pivot off of Hamlin and Kyle Busch or Larson. Alex Bowman starts 14th. He's $9,300. I don't like the price. Bowman can always go up there and run top 5. There's just no consistency to him, and it drives me nuts. Now, looking at the 550 package this year, Alex Bowman, average running position of 10.4, average finish at 10 or 11.2, 79 fastest laps, 39 laps led. So he finished top 10 at Homestead, top 5 at Atlanta, top 5 at Charlotte. He won the first Pocono race, finished 7th at the second Pocono race, 4th in the second Atlanta race. On the low wear tracks this year, 27th at Vegas, 18th at Kansas, 5th at Charlotte, and 22nd in the second Vegas race. He can get up there and get it done. But I don't like the price. I'd rather go Byron or Blaney. If you can't get up there and afford those, part of this is my bias against Alex Bowman and him being dead to me, but I think more often than not, Alex Bowman doesn't perform. So he's not going to get fastest laps. The highest number of fastest laps he got in the 550 package this year has been 14 at Vegas and Atlanta. Other than that, he had 15 at Atlanta too. All of those are higher wear tracks. Everywhere else, it's 8 or less. So if you're paying $9,300, you need him to finish top 5 for that to pay off, for that to work out, for him to get in the optimal. So I think it's worth having some Bowman exposure, but I don't love it by any means. He's a decent play, but that's about it. I think he might be higher owned than he should be, and that's why I'd want to be a little underweight. I haven't ran my ownership projections yet, but I think he's going to be a little bit higher owned than I'm comfortable with, and it's just not. I don't see being overweight on Bowman. I maybe have him in 15 to 20% or something and roll with that. I know hand building lineups, I'm probably not going to get to Bowman. Depending on how many lineups I make this weekend, I just don't see myself getting to Bowman. Joey Logano, he starts 5th. He's $9,100. Again, Penske, they just don't put up fastest laps. And Logano's been awful in the 550 package. Average finish is 16.3, average running position of 12.8. His best finish has been 7th in the first Pocono race. And then he finished 10th in the second Pocono race. Again, it's not comparable to Texas at all. He finished 9th in the first Vegas race. That's his best. Those are his only top 10s in the 550 package this year. We go to the low wear tracks. Logano, average running position of 13.1, average finish of 13.5. He was 9th at Vegas. He was 11th at Vegas 2. He was 17th at Charlotte. He was 17th at Kansas. I'm not seeing the value. I'm not seeing it work out. Him starting 5th. Like I said, Penske doesn't get fastest laps unless Logano surprisingly gets up and leads, which could happen. I mean, it can always happen, but I don't think Penske has that speed. I don't see them being around. I think Logano's a solid top 10 car probably. Maybe not even solid. He's a solid 8th to 12th place car, I think. It's not going to get it done at $9,100 starting 5th in DraftKings. It's just not going to get it done. Ross Chastain, he starts 25th. He's $8,900. I can make a very good case for not picking Ross Chastain this week. I think his ownership's going to go high. He starts 25th. He's $8,900. I think a lot of builds are going to land on him. I'd much rather go to Kurt Busch if I was in that position, or Keselowski with a build. Chastain, for whatever reason, has been awful. Like, Joey Logano's been bad. Ross Chastain has been awful. Awful. Ross Chastain, average running position, 24.3. Average finish, 24.3. That's the low wear tracks this year. That's only 4. Well, you can say, that's only 4 sets in the data, or 4 races in the data set. Okay, let's pull up the 10 races in the 550 package. Ross Chastain, average running position 22.0, average finish of 24.3, 19 fastest laps over 10 races. He's been absolute garbage in this package. Pulling up the races right here. Ross Chastain, 17th at Homestead, 23rd at Vegas, 14th at Atlanta, 14th at Kansas, 37th at Charlotte, 33rd at Pocono, 26th at Pocono 2, 21st at Atlanta 2, 35th at Michigan, 23rd at Vegas 2. 0 top 10s, best finish of 14th. Can he get in the optimal running 14th? Starting 25th? I don't know if that does it at $8,900. But if he has a typical Ross Chastain day, wouldn't you want to be underweight on him? I'm not saying fade completely, but if he ends up at 30, 40% owned, I want to be at 15. I want to be at 10. I don't want that much Ross Chastain this week. I just don't. I don't think he's ran a race here in decent equipment, but he did finish 18th with Premium Motorsports. I'm sure that was a fluke. So yeah, I'm all on going underweight definitely on Ross Chastain this week. Obviously the Chip Ganassi cars aren't slow, and he could prove me wrong and run top 10, but just with how the numbers look this year, I think there's a great case to be underweight on him or fade him, entirely in like a single entry, 3-entry max, even a 20-entry contest. So Kurt Busch, he starts 17th. He's $8,700. He has a really good record here at Texas Motor Speedway. Top 10s in each of the last 8 races. Can he do it again? He's ran better than Chastain in this package this year by a good margin. Average running position 12.1, average finish of 15.8. 8th at Homestead, 6th at Pocono. He won Atlanta 2. He was 4th at Michigan. He was 8th at Vegas 2. Definitely, better numbers than Chastain, which doesn't make a ton of sense. Looking at low wear tracks, Kurt Busch is average running position 15.9, average finish of 20.0. With his record here, though, I still think Kurt Busch is a decent play. I don't think he's a slam dunk play. I don't think he's a guaranteed top 10 finisher. But I think I like having more exposure to him or being even with the field exposure-wise than, compared to a Ross Chastain, if that makes sense. So, Brad Keselowski starts 7th. He's $8,500. I don't mind builds with Brad Keselowski in them, and here's why. He's still a playoff driver. I want as many playoff drivers in my lineup as possible. Well, that's not a very super accurate statement, but it's good to have a few playoff drivers in your lineup. I'll just leave it at that. So, Keselowski finished 7th at Vegas 2. He finished 2nd at the first Vegas race, finished 3rd at Kansas. So on this tire combination, or on these right side tires, he finished 7th, 2nd, and 3rd. And then at Michigan, he finished 9th. The issue is he starts 7th this week, but I like Keselowski as tournament play. I'm gonna be landing on him, and I'll tell you why when we do the builds. But I think Keselowski can surprise this week. At $8,500, I don't mind the limited upside. Like, he's not a definite top 5 car, but he could get there on a good restart late. I don't mind being heavy on Keselowski this week. I'm probably going to write him up in my article. So, Christopher Bell, he starts 11th. He's $8,300. He's another guy. I don't mind being overweight on Christopher Bell. Like I said, I think Joe Gibbs Racing has an advantage at this racetrack, and 550 horsepower package this year. Bell's, he's not great. Average running position 16.1, average finish of 20.8. But he has a couple top 10s, one at Vegas, one at Atlanta 2, 13th at Michigan. Check that. Make that, it's 13th. I like Keselowski more than I like Bell, despite the place differential. Bell did finish 3rd here last year in that Levine car. I just think I like this range to be a little bit different. I like being a little bit overweight in this price range and getting off the chalk here. So Eric Almirola starts 22nd. He's $8,100. This isn't the old Stuart Haas. At best, Eric Almirola is a 16th place car. I just don't see it working out. I think he's about 20th place car on Sunday. I'm not going to get to Almirola. I'll say that. Chase Briscoe, same thing. He's overpriced. $7,900. Starting 26th. I think he can run. I won't say I won't have any Chase Briscoe, but I'm probably not going to get there unless I really get some compelling data to get there. He's just overpriced. He's overpriced. He's about an 18th place car. I don't think that gets there at $7,900. It's low wear tracks this year. Chase Briscoe, average running position 22.3, average finish at 19.5. His low wear best race was at Vegas 2, and he finished 14th. And I believe, let's pull up that race. I think he started, mid-teens as well. Started 19th, finished 14th. Yeah. But, so remember the whole narrative, and I talked about this earlier this year, of Chase Briscoe doing better the second time he goes to tracks because he's had experience on them in the Cup Series. I think that plays into this week as well. We haven't ran at Texas yet. Well, I guess we did. We ran the All-Star race, didn't we? Yeah. We did run the All-Star race here. So yeah, throw that thought out the window. Yeah, I don't see myself getting to Briscoe. I'd rather go to Reddick, Austin Dillon, DiBenedetto, Stenhouse. So, is he a decent pivot? He's decent, but he's not great. Yeah. Tyler Reddick, he starts 9th, and he is $7,700. He's another tournament play that, looking at the low-wear tracks this year, Tyler Reddick, average finish 11.0, average running position 10.8. He finished 6th at Vegas 2. He finished 9th at Charlotte, and he finished 7th at Kansas. I like Reddick as a tournament play. I really do. I think he can go up there. I think he can potentially run top 5. It's whether he can finish there. Reddick has a tendency to fade in races. So I don't like going super overweight, but Reddick did finish 2nd here, last June or last July. I don't hate the Reddick play at all. I think he's a decent play, despite starting 9th. Definitely tournament. You're not going to run him in cash, but I like it. Austin Dillon, same thing. Starts 15th, $7,500. I think he can crack the top 10 with a good race. His 4 races on low-wear tracks this year, average running position of 12.0, average finish of 10.3. He finished 13th at Vegas 2, 12th at Vegas, 6th at Charlotte, and 10th at Kansas. He had one of the fastest cars at Michigan. I really like Austin Dillon this week a ton. My projections do as well. Yeah, I like Austin Dillon. $7,500 with top 10 upside. Give it to me. Think he's a great play. Matt DiBenedetto, he starts 13th. He is $7,400. Again, solid play, I think. Finished 4th at Kansas, 12th at Vegas 2. DiBenedetto is really, really good at restarts, and that's what it takes to run well at these tracks. Tracks like Texas, where it's very hard to pass. DiBenedetto, I think, is a good play this week. He's another tournament play, but I think he can get there. I think he can sneak in a top 5. And it would be, I'm not saying it's by anywhere a guarantee that he gets top 5, but I think DiBenedetto can get there. I don't hate playing DiBenedetto at all this week. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., he starts 27th, $7,200. Honestly, he's probably going to be a cash write-up for me. He low-wear tracks this year, 17th, 11th, 12th, and then he had issues at Kansas and finished 34th. You look at the 550 package, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 13th, 11th, 12th. He finished 34th at Kansas, 12th, 15th, 38th in the second Pocono race, 37th in the second Atlanta race, and then 12th and 17th. If he doesn't have issues, he's a top 15 car. So, yeah, I think Stenhouse is a great play. I really do. Ryan Newman also, I don't hate Ryan Newman this week. I know it's easy to hate on Ryan Newman, but the Roush cars are a little bit better in this 550 package. He starts 31st. I think he can crack the top 20. I don't like putting my eggs in the Newman basket, but I think he could legitimately, run in the teens this week. And I don't hate it. Is it a pivot off of Stenhouse? Is it a combination with Stenhouse? It depends how your build goes, but I really don't hate Ryan Newman this week. As weird as that is, even at that price, I think he's a top 20 car. I really do. Or that I don't think he's a guaranteed top 20 car, but I think he can get there. Daniel Suarez starts 19th, and he is $6,900 nice. Can he get there? 15th at Vegas, too, which is good. 22nd at Michigan. 11th at Kansas. 15th at Charlotte. I'd throw Suarez in as a tournament play. Maybe as a pivot off of Newman. Maybe as a pivot off of Stenhouse. Can Daniel Suarez run top 15? Look at how he's running recently. 13th, 15th, 17th, 13th. I don't hate Suarez at all. I think he's a decent pick. Justin Haley's 32. Starts 32nd. He's $6,800. I don't see the point in picking him. It's about where he's going to finish. Overpriced him again this week. So yeah, don't pick Justin Haley. Eric Jones starts 21st. He's $6,600. I hate this. I just hate this price range. Did finish 10th in the first Vegas race. He finished 16th at Charlotte, 18th at Michigan, 26th in the second Vegas race. It's obviously going to take like a Charlotte run again where he finishes 16th to kind of pay off. I don't think you should avoid Eric Jones, but I don't think you should be super heavy on him. I'd probably stay where the field's going to be on him, which in this price range might be a little too high. But, yeah, I don't love this price range, to be honest with you. Chris Buescher, he starts 10th. He's $6,500. I'd give Buescher a chance if they priced him at $5,500. $6,500, it makes no sense. There's just way too much downside there. Yes, he finished 7th in the first Vegas race. He finished 8th at Atlanta, too. He finished 13th at Michigan. But does he even get there at 13th? Finishing 13th at 65. The price doesn't match up with him starting 10th. Maybe a couple lineups with him, but it's hard to see Buescher maintaining that position. And honestly, he's probably going to be 16th place car on a good day. 15th, 16th place car. So, no, I'm not seeing it work. Bubba Wallace, he starts 18th. He's $6,400. I like Bubba Wallace this week. I really do. Like I said, I think Joe Gibbs Racing has an advantage at this track, and he's basically running another Gibbs car. Recent 550 races, 14th at Charlotte, 14th at Pocono, 5th at Pocono 2, 14th at Atlanta 2, 19th at Michigan, 16th at Las Vegas 2. I think Bubba's a good play this week. I really do. He might be a little too popular, but I think he's a decent play in this range. I really do. $6,400. That's solid. With top 15 potential. Cole Custer starts 20th. He's $6,200. I don't know why you'd pick Cole Custer. He's so awful this year. I mean, awful. His best run came in Atlanta 2 in this package, and in Atlanta, both high wear tracks. Every other 550 horsepower package race, he's been outside the top 20. Average running position 24.9, average finish 24.8. This is the low wear tracks this year. 550 package 22.1, average running position 24.2, average finish. Starting 20th, price is $6,200. I don't see it working out. I don't see a point in taking him. Ryan Preece. This is where it gets interesting. $6,000 starting 23rd. He finished 15th in the first Vegas race. He finished 21st at Michigan. He finished 28th at Vegas 2. 26th at Charlotte. 32nd at Kansas. I wouldn't go crazy on him, but I don't hate Preece. Can he run top 20? He finished 18th here last fall. At this in this price range, you're kind of just hoping that they finish the race and that they don't put it in the wall or they don't slide back too far. And I don't like being in that position in this price range. So, 23rd, I don't think Preece is an awful play. I just don't know if I get there in my lines. Michael McDowell starts 16th. He's $5,800. Michael McDowell is a lot better in the 550 package than he is in the 750 package. 6th at Homestead, 17th at Vegas, 19th at Atlanta, 13th at Kansas, 20th at Charlotte, 19th at Pocono, 17th at Pocono 2. He had issues at Atlanta 2 and finished 27th. He was 20th at Michigan. He was 21st at Vegas 2. I would consider McDowell a tournament play this week, starting 16th, being sandwiched in between these place differential plays of Priest, LaJoie, Alfredo. I think if McDowell can run top, if he can just maintain his track position and finish 16th, that he could get there. Because I don't like LaJoie this week, and I don't like Alfredo very much, despite the place differential potential. So if I'm in this range and I can afford McDowell, I'm probably going to go McDowell, and that might kill me, but I think I'd rather go McDowell over LaJoie and Alfredo. So looking at Corey LaJoie, 550 package this year. Corey LaJoie. Where you at, bud? There we go. Average running position 26.2, average finish at 28.8. Low wear tracks this year. Low wear mile and a half tracks this year. Average running position 25.6, average finish at 28.3. Corey LaJoie, his best finish in the 550 package this year was 22nd at Atlanta 2. Check that. He was 19th at Charlotte. 22nd in Atlanta 2, 23rd at Pocono 2. In the 2 Vegas races, he was 37th and 30th. At Kansas, he was 27th. What's going to give you hope is that Charlotte race where he finished 19th. That was one race. I don't think LaJoie is good in this package. And does that team sometimes bring speed? Could he finish 22nd? Yes. Is it guaranteed? No. Is he going to be higher owned because of that potential 22nd? Yes. Do I want to be underweight on him? Yes. Anthony Alfredo, same thing. 28th, $5,600. I actually like if you're stuck between these two, I'd go Alfredo. Because Alfredo's at least somewhat better. And he's going to be lower owned. Average running position 24.1. Average finish 24.8 on the 4 low wear tracks this year. Low wear mile and a half tracks this year. 550 package 26.4. Average running position. Average finish of 27.0. Alfredo finished 24th in the first Vegas race. He finished 25th at Charlotte. 27th in the second Vegas race and 23rd at Kansas. So if he can finish 25th, I think I'd rather go Alfredo than I would LaJoie. Plus, I'm wearing my Anthony Alfredo shirt. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but I am. I do. I like Pasta a little bit more than LaJoie this week, especially if the ownerships are going to come in where I think they are, where LaJoie is going to be significantly higher owned. So yeah, shit boxes this week. You're not playing Timmy Hill at $5,400. You're not playing David Starr at $5,300. That's probably where these guys are going to finish, or last and second last, unless there's an early wreck. They're going to be super off pace. Joey Gaze is what car is he in? He's in the 53, which is the shit box. That's the shitbox car for Rick Ware. Don't like him. Balicki, starting 33rd. He's in the 52. It looks like he's unsponsored. That might change. Don't love it. McLeod's about the only shitbox that I would consider. Maybe Cody Ware. If I'm punting, which my projections really like to do this week, I'm probably going to go McLeod because he's better than 50. He's better than 35th. A little dyslexic moment there. He's better than 35th. So McLeod in the 550 package this year, 30th at Vegas, 31st at Kansas, 31st at Charlotte, 28th at Michigan. It's about where he can get you about 3 to 5 place differential points this week. If I'm punting, I'm probably going to McLeod. He's the best shitbox. That's facts. Smithley in the 15. Also, I don't like that car. Can pull up the numbers real quick. Just to confirm my thoughts here, the 15 car, 37th at Vegas, 33rd. It's actually not as bad as I thought it'd be. Maybe some Smithley, but I still rather go McLeod. I think McLeod's a better car. Cody Ware's the other one that you could potentially make a case for. I think similar stats to McLeod. 32nd at Vegas, 30th at Charlotte, 27th at Michigan, 31st in Vegas 2, 36th at Kansas. Yeah, it's the same thing. And then Quinn Houff 30th, you're not taking him. So yeah, let's talk about some lineup construction here for a little bit. My optimal says Larson, Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and B.J. McLeod. Well, I don't particularly mind punting this week. There's a lot that has to go right for the first, second, and third place starters to get into the optimal this week. A lot has to go right. So, not a huge fan of going Larson, Hamlin, and Kyle Busch, even though I think they're the most likely dominators. I think there's a chance that they could split. They could all split dominating this race. I think there's a chance. I think they could finish 1, 2, 3. But this type of build I think is quite aggressive. And honestly, would you rather? So here's the thing. If you're staying in this under 6,000 range, this is why I'm not totally against punting this week, because at, let me pull this up real quick. What's going to be the big difference between B.J. McLeod and Alfredo? This is my case for punting this week. So B.J. McLeod, let's say he finishes, give him 31st. 31st, 0 laps led, 0 fastest laps. It's going to get you 14 DraftKings points, okay? Anthony Alfredo, let's give him 26th. Zero laps led. Let's give him 1 fastest lap. That's going to give you 18.45 DraftKings points. It's only 4-point difference. Now, the difference between McLeod and Alfredo is $700, which is the difference between, if we take Stenhouse off of here and we throw Alfredo on here, that means we're stuck with Eric Jones. I'd much rather have Stenhouse than I would Eric Jones. Now, what if we kept Stenhouse on there and then we could get Newman or Suarez? I wouldn't mind that build as much. Do a Suarez, and then, you could go Alfredo or LaJoy. I don't hate that as much, but I like the upside more with Austin Dillon getting a top 10. I'm just saying there's not a huge gap in points unless Corey LaJoy, Anthony Alfredo really outperform B.J. McLeod. For that saving in cap space, this is why I think it is, I can almost guarantee I'm probably going to have the punt lineup in a high dollar contest this week because it makes sense to me. Alfredo and LaJoy just aren't all-star picks this week, and McDowell is very risky. So if I can get McLeod, if I can get Ware, and they can get me a 30th place finish, and I'm able to stack, higher price guys like that, I don't mind it at all. I don't mind it at all. So that's my case for punting this week. If you're going to stack, the dominators up top, I think that's a decent strategy. Another strategy I don't hate is staying in this mid-price range. So throwing a Keselowski on there. Maybe throw in Dylan DiBenedetto and Stenhouse. And, going with Chastain maybe. You only have one dominator, but you have Keselowski can finish top 10. Chastain can get you place differential points. DiBenedetto could sneak out a top 10. So could Austin Dillon. I don't particularly like having all of them in one lineup. I like maybe picking and choosing. So maybe going Austin Dillon, Stenhouse, but again, then you're coming down here. Maybe you grab Bubba Wallace, okay? So I don't hate a build like this, where Bubba's your lower price guy, and then you go Larson, Hamlin, or Kyle Busch, or Byron. Let's just throw Kyle Busch on there. So Larson, Kyle Busch, Keselowski, Austin Dillon, Stenhouse, Bubba Wallace. If you don't want Kyle Busch, come down and grab Byron or Blaney, or Hamlin. Like I like this build a little bit more. And maybe you come down here and grab the Benedetto, and that's not good enough. Leaves you $200 to work with. Yeah, I'd still rather go Austin Dillon over to Benedetto. But if you wanted to switch things up, that's a small, tiny little pivot you could make. If you didn't want Keselowski, you go to Bell, and then you can go Chase then. Larson, Chase Elliott, Bell, DiBenedetto, Stenhouse, Bubba Wallace. If you didn't like DiBenedetto, go to Austin Dillon. There's moves you can make. There's lineups you can make. That I'd rather go a 2 dominator build this week than 3. As attractive as that looks, going Larson, Hamlin, like you're covering your bases here. If you're going Larson, Hamlin, Kyle Busch, you're banking on them finish 1, 2, 3. You're banking on them all getting dominator points, which that's how my projections have them, is they're all going to get some dominator points. But you're really banking on that to happen, and that's a very specific situation. You're banking on them not falling back. You're banking on them not having issues. All 3 of them. I think they're the 3 best cars. Can you build this way? Absolutely. Would I fully recommend it? Probably not. Let's do something like this. That's just... these drivers are so garbage here. Does that? Yeah. I don't want to be forced to be picking Custer or Priest or McDowell or LaJoy or Alfredo. It's tough. Yeah. So, yeah, like I said, I'm filming this on Friday. I think that's a build you kind of want to go, is a 2-dom build, maybe 3-dom. It's a difficult week to make lineups. I'll just say that. So, like I said, I think Larson's a smash play. Let's take him off, though, and go with like a Byron here. So you go Byron, Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Stenhouse, Bubba Wallace. That can get you to Suarez or Newman. I'd like it better if it got you up to Austin Dillon. What if we went down, grab Bowman? Bowman, Hamlin, Kyle Busch, DiBenedetto, Stenhouse, Bubba Wallace. Don't hate that build. If you like Bowman, I don't hate that build. Do a Blaney. Actually like that build quite a bit. Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Blaney. But again, you're banking on those guys finishing top 5. So Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Blaney, Austin Dillon, Suarez, Bubba Wallace. Go grab Stenhouse there. So you got Stenhouse, Suarez, Bubba Wallace, Kyle Busch, Hamlin, Blaney. You know, if you didn't want that second, third, fourth, come up here and grab Chase Elliott off of one of them. Could do that, you know, second, fourth, sixth. Like I said, though, or you do Byron, Kyle Busch, Elliott. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Is you can make a ton of lineups this week. You can go a lot of different ways. And as of Friday morning when I'm filming this, I don't know exactly where I'm going. I really don't. This is a tough race just because of how the starting lineup has come together, and the pricing from DraftKings is aggressive. It's aggressive pricing this week, and it makes you take stands that aren't necessarily comfortable. We went from a very chalk week at the Roval last week to now you have to make decisions. You really do. And I think scores are going to be tight, and I think you're going to have to make the right decision literally at every aspect of your lineup. So yeah. Good luck this week at Texas. We got Kansas next week. I'll be live with Brandon probably around the same time, I'm going to guess. Like 11 a.m. Eastern on Sunday. That's not confirmed yet, but that's probably what we'll do. That's what we've done the last couple of weeks. Make sure you check that out because my thoughts could change between now and then. As I consume more content, as I look into numbers more, as I actually start building lineups, my thoughts can easily change. So good luck. Make sure you check out the live stream, and I'll see you next week for Kansas. See ya.